Elements of style. Zumru was pretty upset about her meeting with the thesis supervisor. She knew that the fate of her thesis lay in her guide's hands. So she had no option but to follow all his instructions blindly. It was the most difficult job to escape safely from the clutches of the supervisor's whims and fancies. The supervisor was very critical of Zumrud's style of writing. Don't write like a newspaper reporter. You should write like a scholar, beginning your chapter with a quote by Bertrand Russell or Noam Chomsky. But, sir, they have not written anything on this subject. Then you may quote our Prime Minister or the Chinese Premier. Yes, sir. In the foregoing analysis, we saw how the preceding analysis makes it absolutely clear. The above analysis brings home the point. You may re emphasize the point by saying, needless to say. But, sir, if there is no need, then why say it at all? Don't ask me such silly questions. You had better follow my instructions if you want me to approve your thesis for submission. Yes, sir. I will improve my style of writing. Zumru then contacted her senior, who had just been awarded the doctorate under her guide's supervision. Don't worry, he said. Send me the soft copy of your draft chapters. A few days passed. Zumru finished her data tabulation and started writing about data analysis. Once again, her supervisor found fault with her language. She had written, the above data show. The data never show, they always indicate. Write your prima facie observation in the first paragraph. The second paragraph should focus upon the aforementioned observation hitherto unknown to the researcher. Yes, sir. The aforementioned observation was hitherto unknown to the researcher. The data bring home the point. Prima facie, the raison d'etre, inter alia, Zumru knew that her supervisor was very fond of these Latin expressions. Before making any observation, you should always raise some question. Yes, sir. The question arises as to whether the actual data proved that such a question would never arise. There was absolutely no room for it, but the supervisor compelled Zumru to raise the question. The data brought home the point. How many times the data is coming home, I say? It's feeling homesick, I think. There were fallacies in other scholars' work because they were students of my professor's enemy. So many such points were brought home, and at last Zumru completed the concluding chapter. But alas, the thesis was running short of 25 pages to fulfill the customary requirement of 400 pages. Besides, the supervisor never allowed submission unless the student worked for 4 years. Zumru was only counting days to complete the professor's self imposed timeline. Sir, please tell me where I should elaborate. Divide the dissertation in three parts: text, notes, and bibliography. The first two parts are one and the same, but in two different fonts. And the bibliography has to be very big with a bigger font. Jumru surmised that the examiner will only see the references and the bibliography and decide whether to approve the thesis. The notes should explain every statement made in the first part. Repeat what you have said, why you have said it, and what is it that made you say so. Your statement written in a simple statement made in the text should be converted into a complex, complicated, and incomprehensible language in the notes. Jumru followed the supervisor's instructions and the thesis gained some more weight. It was now not possible for her to hold it in one hand. The supervisor asked her to see him in the following week. Who has written your thesis? Yourself or your senior who just cleared its Viva Voce? Jumru replied very politely, Sir, I have written it myself. But it is just that both of us have used the same software, the Microsoft Thesaurus.